Cancer has been defeated. And yet for every question answered, another one appears.
So with Extrapolations, you play Rabbi Marshall, and it's a really fun and interesting turn for, a project that has some really heavy themes. What to you stood out about Extrapolations when it comes to exploring genre in not like a high sci-fi way, but more into like a gritty, like realistic way with things that could happen?
I like that the stories are so personal, and I like that despite the mission of sort of climate change and climate science awareness, that we really focus on these personal stories. And I found the mechanics of it, as like mechanics in sci-fi are kind of everything, and I found the mechanics of stepping forward in time like that, starting at like pretty close to starting where the science is right now, what the science is, and then stepping forward just with like logical progressions of that was really effective in terms of framing, but also, again, the stories are we're just watching people be people and deal with the trauma of being a human in this world as it is connected to the climate and other things and just life, And so I loved Marshall for that reason, for like his very explicit humanity, like he's not only is he clearly like very flawed and very human, he also knows that himself the same way we all do.
For sure, yeah. I thought Marshall and Alana's sort of dichotomy was very interesting because they kind of represent those counterpoints of how we all feel during this like sort of traumatic time, and represent hope in like different ways. And I think that really created a really good like first act for this bigger story. What have you learned from working on this project about anchoring it through the perspective of faith specifically?
Yeah, I mean, talking to faith leaders for research like actually made me way more aware of how activists a lot of them are, and how much they consider themselves as like as an active part of the climate discussion, of various other political discussions, of like this center of faith is also just a center of community, and we want to behave as such and be actual participants in the community and listen and respond to what our communities are telling us that they need, because we have the resources to do that. And I, as someone who hadn't been to synagogue in a very long time, was like, oh, maybe I should go back. I don't know, like that was great. It was great to hear and great to be able to infuse Marshall with that, because I was not aware of that there were rabbis who were as activists as the ones that I was speaking to.
I thought that the scene specifically where you have the dream sequence and it's really stylized, it kind of gave me courtroom blind spotting courthouse vibes.
Yeah. Whoa, I didn't even dawn on me till you just said it. You're totally right. Yeah.
I was like, whoa,
it's crazy.
Is that like a conscious thing? But also
not on my part, but maybe on somebody's part, but I don't know. Yeah, the flashy suit, the like whole, you're totally right.
Well, like I thought, it's really interesting to have you be in scenes where cathartic moments are explored through music, and I wanted to know, just from your perspective, what are like the hallmarks of that sort of breaking into song or breaking into a rap to kind of bring the character's motivations out? Like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really useful tool in the toolbox that like takes a pretty deft hand to do, and so like but I think when you can do it well, music generally like attacks a different part of our psyche and our consciousness than straight narrative does. So that's one of the reasons it's effective. It also, I think, existing in the realm of metaphor forces us to like examine things more closely, right? When we have to think about what the hell did that mean, I think it's useful when we don't feed an audience what it means, but forces you to think about and come up with your answer for what it means, as a way to get engaged in a more palpable way in whatever you're trying to discuss. And so I think in that sense, like the musical moments or heightened moments, particularly in film, where we don't do a lot of them, can be really useful. I think it's an underused tool.